And welcome to Crochet Hooks. Please enjoy our free tutorials with just one of a 24-part series on teaching you how to crochet. Subscribe to start receiving our 24 courses that are delivered to your email inbox every few days. By the time you're done, you'll know the ins and outs of crochet. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So now let's get crocheting with Curtsy. And welcome back to the Curtsy Crochet Hook program. I'm your host Mikey. Today's lesson number 16. This is the Catherine wheel stitch. In the next few lessons we're going to learn how to block stitches together, which creates fans, creates different kinds of ideas. It really does change your work. I told you in the very beginning of this series that I actually bought a book when I was 14 on learning how to crochet. The Catherine wheel stitch in this tutorial was the very second stitch technique that I learned, and you're going to say, wow, that was quite an accomplishment to be able to do that, and I really should have learned the other steps in between, but I figured you either go big or you go home. So let's get started on lesson number 16. This is the Catherine wheel stitch. So this is a really fabulous pattern. This is my little sample, and we start off in the center and obviously work our way around. And on the picture they showed that this side is the more desirable side, but when you turn it over I think it looks pretty cool too. So it's obviously one of those patterns that you're going to want to do multiple colors. You don't have to do just two, you can do as many as you prefer. And in order to keep the round shape you should change your colors every time you want to make that completely round. So let's get started. We're going to go off into the middle, work our way around, and again it's not that complex, but you're going to want to pay attention to the fine steps. So the pattern is asking for the Red Heart Super Saver, which makes this a pretty inexpensive project when you go to think about the economy yarn that you're going to use. The next thing we need to do is just grab your yarn and create your slip knot, and now this is the back of your hand, front of your hand. Take the back one, loop it over, and now take this one, loop it up and over your finger, and create yourself a slip knot and slide in your hook. Now they've asked for a 5.5 millimeter hook or a size I. You should know that this hook here that I have is a size J. Doesn't really make too much of a difference as well. You should also know that this pattern is actually talking in European language, and it's saying to use so many trebles, and actually what they mean in American language it's double crochet, so don't get fooled up on that. So the first thing we need to do is, just once we got our slip knot on there, that does not count as one, let's go on there for 8. So let's grab and pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and now we want to bring it together, so grabbing then the tail area in the first stitch, grabbing it through just like so. Okay, I'm going to pull through, so just kind of, you have a U shape, just grab the material and pull through and through, and so there is your O. Now just for clarity I'm going to move that one in the background. I think that it's kind of distracting, so let's move that out of the way and we'll keep on going with this tutorial. So let's take a quick break. In the next round you might actually go and look all confused, but what you're actually doing is you're just concentrating on thinking it's a little square. See how the hook is going up? Just like so. That is the next section that we're going to be working on. So you see that it goes all the way around. We're not doing that in this rotation, but in actual fact we're creating the actual semicircle that creates that in this next round, and that is what we're going to do next. Now back to our project. We are still on round number 1. We want to now begin. So it says to chain up 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we're going to create one of the semicircles. Okay, so what we need to do is that we just need to go right into the ring itself, so just into the ring, and it says that we need to do 5 partial trebles into the ring. That's double crochet, everybody, so it's 5 trebles. So what we just do is just grab the material and go in, pull the material through, so now you got 3 on your hook, just pull through 2 and hold. Okay, and so now you'll have 2. So just do that again, going in, pull through 2 and hold. So you want to do it so that you end up with 6 loops onto your crochet hook. This is how you're performing to do a cluster. So in and hold. Okay, so that's 5 onto the ring, or onto the hook, and now here we go. So now you got 6, so what you want to do is you want to pull through. So just grab the material, pull through all 6 at one time. Okay, it says now to Pull through all 6 loops on the hook, cluster made, chain 1 at the top, so chain 1 to create the top of the cluster, and now it says to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So basically there is one section, if you can visualize the rest of the ring going all the way around. Okay, so now what we want to do again is do the same thing. So grabbing the material, going in and pull through in 2 and hold, and you want to do it so that you have 6 again on your hook. So essentially what you're doing is that every time you're creating one of these, you're creating a corner. And once you get a little further on, you can see that the corner is actually forming. You may notice a little bit too that it might be folding in on you. Don't worry about it, it will correct itself over time. Okay, so you got 6 on your hook again, or do I got 7? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I got, take one out. Okay, so now what I want to do is grab it, and pull through all 6 at one time. Okay, chain 1, so loop it through, and now chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so there's one corner, another corner, and now let's do it again. Now reading your directions on this one was quite tough for me on a personal level. I had trouble just a little bit of the terminology, and I know that some of the viewers online struggle with the European way of looking at it. And remember that every language is different everywhere, so patterns could be reading differently. So you got your 6 back on, pull through, chain 1, and now chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you got one corner, another corner, this corner, so now we just got one more. If you run out of space, just yank it around. Because you're going in the ring, nothing is like securing definitely in the spot, everything's movable. So go again. And now I have to say, I should have said this before, the first example that I did, you'll notice that there's going to be a size difference between that one and this one. I read the TR as being a triple crochet and not a treble, and I was corrected by a viewer on that. So in actual fact, the one that I did will be bigger than this one because of the stitching. So go through 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there we go. And now what I want to do is that I just want to pull it through. Okay, so see how everything is attaching on this side? I'm just going to have to go through the top over here and make sure that I just bring everything together. Okay, so then you have all the 4 sections joining. Okay, so we don't want to do a color change at this point, and we want to move on to round number 2. In this next round, we are now going to concentrate on doing the rest of the green here, 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 and here. So in actual fact, what we're looking at right now is that we've just finished off the inside of the section of the circles. So let's move along and complete this particular green before fastening off. As we move along, you're going to find that every circle represents 16 stitches. In this round it doesn't matter, but as we get around, you're going to notice as we get some conclusion done is that it's all revolving around the number 16. So now what we're looking, remember how we crocheted and we brought everything together one and then we chained 1? It created a loop right on top of the actual cluster, and that is where we're going to be aiming next. So just double crochet going into the top of that so you can reach all the way over, and because we're doing a circle, it's going to fan itself all the way around that point. And what I want you to do is double crochet 12 times into that. Before I begin as well, you got to make sure you don't get confused on where your stitches are starting and stopping. Okay, so this is actually just the one. If you want to put in a crochet marker, I have my Mikey's Mail by Exquisite Concepts. I'm just going to throw that in there so that I know that that is the very first stitch. It's sometimes difficult to sometimes mess up and realize that you're not on the right one. So let me just get that in there so it doesn't fall out. Okay, so let's just keep going. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And so now what it's saying to you is that, see this gap right in between? Remember, this is where all the gapping is? Well, we just want to slip stitch. So just sticking your hook in, pulling material through and through. It's just like you were doing a formation around thing. So there is your first circle, and now let's jump along to the next section. So just here's your next one here. You just look for the top one that brings it all together and begin double crocheting right into that spot. And once you get the first one in there, it starts to open up more and more. So let's go 1, 2. I'm going to take this out because it's making noise and it's going to interfere with the video. So 2, 3, it's 4, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. It's important that you do double check it just in case, and remember where you stopped and started. So this is where we did our slip stitch there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I just want to do that one more time because I'm not confident in that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just like before, the gap that's in between, you just want to stick your hook in, pull it through and through. It's just a slip stitch. Okay, so 2 sides are now done. So again, double crochet into the top where it's all coming together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Got 12, and again just want to slip stitch in through. So there's 3 sides done, and again just begin again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And now we're just going to finish off this round, and this is one of the unusual things about this particular pattern I found. We're just going to slip stitch in and pull through, and we are done this round. So it's unlike when we go to start the next round, you're going to think, oh, wow, that was unusual, and what I'm about to show you next is going to be the reason.